Hello, welcome to the What I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. I found a video of a crazy person, so this is going to be the background. um, yeah. Anyway, she's a ASMR person, and it's very old. Don't ask me how I found it, but it's better than just having me on the screen. Anyway, I can't look because I'll laugh. So anyway, I have a bunch of songs, and like the some of the songs I have were good enough to get record industry attention. Oh, it's, I haven't. This is my first time seeing this video. Anyway, so I thought to myself, it's kind of a waste that I have radio quality songs, being wasted. Because this guy from Reprise Record was like, yeah, at the time he heard our demo. He's like, yeah, like two of these songs could be on the radio. Anyway, so I was uh, like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, you know what, I should give these songs away. It's like all these years later, I'm like, I should like give someone, the song or whatever. So I went on Craigslist. Okay, I went on Craigslist and I put, I was like, hey, I had some interest from a record label, blah blah blah. I just told the whole story. I'm not gonna bore you. I told the whole story. Like I didn't want to be involved, so whatever. But like, in the email or the Craigslist ad, I was like, yeah. So here's a song, and then like I put a link, like I recorded the song on YouTube. I put a link there, so I'm like, whoever wants this song, you can have it. You have my permission. You can copyright it, whatever. I don't think I copyrighted that song, but whatever. I'm not gonna sue him or anything. And so, I thought that was that. Like I left them a link to the song so they could, learn it, and you could see me play it, and the lyrics are there. And so today I got an email from a drummer and a bass player, and they want to form a band with me, be a three-piece band, have me sing and play guitar, obviously. And they want to tour. So yeah, I don't want to do that. They're very interested in starting a band with me, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I have no interest in doing it. The only way I would do that, if there was a girl singer, I would do that actually. Cause my favorite band, what I take that back, a band that I think has the best sound, I think the Forecast has the best like sound, well, like rock sound, for like a rock band, because there's so many different genres of music. So I would consider the Forecast just rock. But then that's probably too bland because someone's gonna be like, well, when I think of rock, I think of this. That's the problem with rock and roll, because there really are so many subgenres of it. But I'm just gonna say alternative rock that is very modern. Like it's like the like the verse you'll have rhythm guitar, like it's rhythm guitar and bass, and some songs there's a lead all the way through, but it's a and yeah, it's very rhythm guitar oriented. Like in '90s rock, you would have the guitar would drop out for the verse, and it's just the bass. Well, think of Nirvana, not all their songs, but a lot of their songs. Hey, like Nevermind, that song. It was like bass. The chorus was just bass and drums, and then the guitar came for the chorus. That's one example. But there's a plenty of bands like that. But I made the mistake of looking at her. But anyway, so they're more modern. So you have rhythm guitars playing over the verse, plus the bass line, and then sometimes the lead guitar is playing lead during the verse, like a melodic lead. But anyway, the whole point is, I think the Forecast are the best sounding rock band out there. But what makes them really good is they have two lead singers. They have a guy and a girl, and the girl usually sings the chorus and back up during the verse, and the guy usually sings the verse and back up during the chorus. And so it's this really great dynamic, and they sing completely different. Like the guy has a kind of like a grungy voice, and then the girl, obviously it's higher pitch, but it sounds like she's like yelling her ass off, but it's in tune and doesn't sound like it's forced. But her voice is very powerful, and so it like contrasts between his voice, because her voice is like more higher pitch and forceful, and then his voice is like grungier, and it almost sounds like he's holding back. It sounds like he could be crazy yelling, but that's just how he sounds. Anyway, so that's probably the only way I would just join some random band that asked me to play with them and tour. Now I don't know the details of touring, because to me that means you're just gonna play a bunch of clubs in Los Angeles, because like obviously you're not gonna drop everything and you just don't tour the country. Like you just don't do that. Like there's a process. So thinking from my experience, tour means you just like let's say like I'm gonna play a club in Santa Monica, and then like next month I've set it up. I play a club in a different city, and then a different city, like just like California local, not like statewide. And that's normal. It's like there was a band, Anchor and Bear, I really liked, and they were touring, but it was just different cities in the Los Angeles area. So like they would be in Alhambra, then Santa Monica, then but whatever, like Van Nuys, Riverside, just all over the, like in a, I don't know, like a 100-mile radius of Los Angeles. I wouldn't want to do that, but anyway, I would just tour all the different clubs. But is that even called a tour? But just a different club in like different areas in Los Angeles. So I mean, like Santa Monica, downtown, just kind of local. I'm thinking like a 30-mile radius. There you go. That's my limit. 30 mile. I do not have it in me to do anything more than that. Okay, like, because it's like you're not making any money. Now that'd be different if you're making money, but it's got to be a lot of money, and you're not gonna. The one thing about being a entertainer in Los Angeles, everyone is a entertainer in Los Angeles. Like you're not special if you're a musician. You're not special if you're an actor. You're not special if you're a dancer. You're not special if you're an artist. You're just not special. You're not special if you're a cat girl with a Donald Trump head next door. There's so many things that people think would make them special, but they're not. And that's the main reason why I made the post anyway to give the song away so someone could use it to get their band elevated. That was the whole point, the whole purpose of it, because like maybe, because sometimes, first of all, it's all about luck. It really is. It's all about luck, and it's all about who you know. Like I've been in plenty of bands, played with plenty musicians who are better than people who are in signed bands making millions of dollars. But the problem is, in at least in the music industry, it doesn't matter who's better. It doesn't matter who's good. It just matters. Well, it does matter who you know. It matters if you're lucky enough. Like even with me, like when Reprise Records heard my demo, it's not like I was trying. The bass player, his wife was our manager, even though I don't know what she did other than being very attractive, a very attractive woman. Anyway, she would always hold or carry our demos with her, and she was at a show because her husband was in, like most, what the it's just too much. Most musicians are in more than one band. So her husband, my bass player, was in a couple other bands, and so she was at a show watching her husband play, and this guy walked up to her and just started hitting on her, and she was like, "Oh well, that's my husband. I'm married. Blah blah blah." And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to blah blah blah." She goes, "Oh no, it's you didn't know, because her hands were in her pocket." It's just like he's in another band. Do you want to hear the demo and give it a listen? And the guy's like, "Sure." And so she pulled out the CD from her pocket, and the guy listened to it. Apparently, he was an A&R guy for Reprise Records. So like that was luck, because there's no way that we would have, because they don't take unsolicited demos. Okay. So anyway, and then like the I made it clear, like it was obvious I didn't want to like be a part of the crap, but whatever. Not gonna get into that. But so I was like, I know the songs are good enough because we had interest. So I was like, I'll just give them away to help someone up, because it's like maybe this person, because it's hard to write songs. I mean, it's easy for me, but apparently I've heard other people say writing songs is hard. Writing songs for me is the easiest thing on the planet. I can write most of the songs I've ever written, so some of them I've written in 3 minutes, including I'm talking the lyrics and the music, like 3 minutes. Like it just comes naturally to me. And like I've forgotten more songs than people know, probably. Like if you just pick some random musician and he tells you I could play 20 songs, I've probably forgotten a couple of hundred songs. Like that's how many songs I've written. But anyway, so I was just like, I'll help someone out, and so at least I know I'm giving them professional quality songs. A song that has, because there's certain components you have to put into a song to make it radio friendly, and to make it so that, like, because remember you're writing songs for you're writing songs for non-musicians. Like if a musician says they like your music, that's not a compliment. That doesn't mean anything, because who cares? The average person is not a musician. They remember, the average Taylor Swift fan can't sing, can't play anything. Okay, like if you ask a musician, do you like Taylor Swift? They're gonna probably say no. Probably say no. But if you talk to someone, if you talk to the average Taylor Swift fan, they're a person who is not musically talented at all. And I'm not knocking Taylor Swift. because she writes songs for people who aren't musicians. She writes well, now she writes pop music, which is it's fine. There's nothing wrong with pop music, but she purposely writes songs a certain way to get so people will like them, and that's hard for a lot of people. But and I don't know Taylor's things. Like, I know she used to write her songs. I don't know if she still writes her songs now, but I figured that's why she has a high body count, because she has to get into a relationship and break up with someone to write songs. But I don't know. I'm surprised she hasn't started dating me. But anyway, so I don't know if I'm going to do that anymore. Post songs so people can use them to make their band better, because I don't know. It made me feel weird that, like, I felt pressure even though I shouldn't. But like when I read the email they wrote back saying how they wanted to start a band and play a bunch of places, I'm because I'm like, I don't want to do that. I felt like I'm letting them down, and like I don't even know these people. And here's the thing. I said you can have the song. You don't know another person who plays guitar or who can sing and use the song. I said you could have it. So I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, um, I guess this was a vlog. Anyway, you guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Sorry about the background. Come on, this is funny, right? We should probably react to this. I don't know if she has more videos. I'll find out. But anyway, peace out, guys.